Hey guys, how's it going?
Going good, man. Hey, thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Good-looking shirt you got on there, buddy. I kind of like that.
Oakley.
Yeah, nice.
Very nice.
Like that day glow. What do you call that? Green?
I've heard it called a bunch of different colors. It's a yellow. It's supposed to be yellow.
Day glow yellow.
Yeah.
Hot yellow.
Fluorescent, maybe.
Yeah, fluorescent yellow. I got
Chartreuse, but I don't know what that means.
That's Allmendinger's car.
Took us a while to figure that out, but you know, Paul, Steve mentioned it when he introduced you, 15th in the points. Your first 6 races, you had a great run at Atlanta, all top 20 finishes. A little bit of a hiccup at Phoenix last week, but 15th, but you're only like 44 points out of the top 12. Pretty solid season so far for this 98.
It's been a good start for sure. We learned what not to do in Phoenix, and we'll apply that to Richmond. And you know, that hurt us in the points, but it's so competitive. Everybody's stacked on top of each other. A little bit goes a long ways. So we have a really good Ford for this weekend, and didn't qualify quite as good as we hoped, but our car is really good from 5 laps on, and if we get some long runs on Sunday, we'll be just fine.
Speaking of long runs and getting it like you need it, how about your relationship right now with Richard Slugger Labby? It seems like you guys are really, like I say, like you've been together for a long period of time. It's really working well.
Yeah, I was glad you didn't say Richard. You'd confuse me.
Yeah.
I had to put that first just to be politically correct.
That's right. No, Slugger's been awesome to work with. We knew each other a little bit back in the DI days, and you know, just kind of in passing, talked a little bit. But when we got the opportunity to get him in December, we jumped on it. He just brings a lot to the table. You know, he's when he was in at Evernham Motorsports a few years ago, he was working with Mike Shiplett, Kenny Francis, and a lot of the same faces that are at RPM right now. So that, you know, that tames down the learning curve that he might have had coming into a new organization. But our relationship's been fine and continues to build.
You mentioned it. Did you actually go out and recruit him? I mean, kind of like, you know, were you with the guy who said, hey, I want to get this guy?
Yeah, I mean, it was Robbie Loomis brought the name up, and I'm like, man, yeah, that'd be cool. Let's talk to him. So we did, and you know, the rest is history.
Paul, last week we spoke to A.J. Allmendinger about the importance that confidence plays. In your mind, where have you gained the most from when you first came into the sport? And to that point, where would you like to improve?
Well, I mean, confidence is good. It gives you, you know, when you unload on Friday, confidence is a good thing for sure. But my confidence comes from the guys around me and knowing that, you know, Slugger and I was going to call him Richard there. Slugger and Mike Bogowich, my engineer, and all the guys at the shop have done a good job in the week leading up to the race. So my confidence comes from knowing that they put in the effort, and it's up to me when we unload, and we're going to have a good car, and how do we improve it.
You know, Paul, I don't know if you saw us the early segment of the show where we were talking about the green-white checkers and coming down and getting 2, getting 4. How do you guys decide? Do you have any input into, you know, what Slugger's going to do? Does he say, what do you want to do? Or how does that work between you two?
Atlanta would be a good instance of that. I think we're running like 8th or 9th when that last caution came out. We're going to have a green-white checkered, and we didn't know what to do. So we compromised, I guess, and took 2 tires, and it worked out pretty well. But there's a lot of talking going back and forth, obviously, and if he sees something from the race, because being in the driver's seat, you don't know a whole lot about what's going on around you. Him seeing what tire drop-off does and what other people have done with 2 tires or no tires and how they've held on goes a long way. So that was just one instance where we compromised, and I kind of wanted to take 4. He wanted to take none, and we compromised.
How about Saturday night? I mean, you were back there where I can't believe somebody didn't stay out. How come you didn't stay out? Why?
Well, we were a lap down at that point.
You were a lap. Well,
yeah,
that's why.
There's a wreck in 3 and 4 early on, and we got the grill packed with dirt, so we had to come down a couple of times under caution and fill it full of water, and then being in the back, then we had a long green flag run, so we got caught a lap down, and so we didn't have that option. Had we had that option, we probably would have taken it.
Paul, reading notes about your background, like a lot of guys, you raced go-karts, but I'm always curious about the decision that young men make or young women, where they say, I'm going to go race, and I'm going to go race in NASCAR. What led you to that step?
Well, I grew up around racing. My dad, my uncle, one of my brothers, my cousin, they all raced before me, so I kind of grew up in that environment. We're always on the IndyCar side. My dad, first time going to Indy 500, I think was 77. And I remember being, 8 years old and getting out of school and going to a tire test or something at the Speedway. And so I kind of came up in that environment. But in Wisconsin, I mean, short track racing is huge, basically all over the country now, but especially in Wisconsin. And it just worked out where we could run Legends cars, 3, 4, 5 nights a week if we wanted to. Not a whole lot of IndyCar racing in Wisconsin. So short track racing is big, and it's something that I didn't drive my first oval until I was 16. Everything was road courses before that. And so my first few times on oval was pretty exciting to say the least. But we raced 4 nights a week and just learned from there.
So, Paul, in the modern era here with all these young drivers, they're all physical fitness guys. They got workout programs, trainers, chefs. Some of them even go see sports psychologists. What do you do? What's your regiment for staying in shape and keeping a good positive mental attitude?
The biggest thing is water. Just got to stay hydrated. It's so hard to, you sweat so much on Sunday. It takes all week to get your hydration back up. But I've got a trainer that I work out with a few times a week. We put in I try to get 6 hours in, about 5 hours with him and an hour with by myself doing something. And it's worked out pretty good. You got to watch what you eat, obviously. And on my motorhome, you get tempted because I tell my motorhome driver not to buy any snacks because I don't have a whole lot of willpower to stay away from them. So you got to live on ham and cheese sandwiches on the weekend and cook a steak at night or some chicken or something, and big bed of rice.
Anything else you like to do? I mean, other than drive the race car?
Yeah, I mean, anytime I can be outside is a good thing. In the summertime, we do a lot of wakeboarding on Lake Norman. And my buddy Matt Crafton's got a boat, so I mooch off him a lot. And in the wintertime, probably my favorite thing to do outside of racing is go snow ski. So we always plan a trip in Colorado and plan around a December trip every year.
You ever seen Hammond out there anywhere on the slopes?
Have not.
Probably won't.
Can't miss him with the hat, though.
He's always over on the, what do they call that, beginner?
The bunny slope. Bunny slope.
Yeah, that's where he is.
Yeah.
We went to Steamboat Springs in Colorado a year or two ago, and there's a professional skier. I forget the guy's name. Is Billy something or other, but he was wearing a cowboy hat. It's 20 below. Wearing a cowboy hat.
How do you hold a cowboy hat on when you're downhill
I think he
skiing?
had one of those things that come underneath.
It's called a stampede string.
A stampede string.
Stampede.
Okay.
I'll teach you.
My
the same
life's
thing
complete
like
now. I know that's a stampede string.
Stampede string.